Hello, I'm Johnny Rowland, your host of The Shooting Show, and certainly we want to welcome you to today's program. We're indeed proud to be here. We've got a bunch of kittens out here. You know, we've always said the range should be a friendly place, and it certainly is. We got cats and dogs, and my goodness, who knows what else. There's probably I know I saw at least one possum. I don't see him at the moment. I don't think Blue's going to make what you call a possum dog. Blue and the possum sniffed of each other and went on their separate ways. Anyway, well, friends, here we are again. Thanks to a number of you that really cared about our project or do care about our project. Yes, here we are again this week, and we're so proud to be on because, as I've often said, my goodness, every time we can put a shooting show on the air, we're making a stand for our freedom about who we are as Americans, that we as gun owners, yes, we can fight back against the anti-gun people that want to take our guns away. In fact, speaking of anti-gun stuff, I don't really know what Charlton Heston's going to do. I hope that Charlton Heston, if I get my cats quieted down over there, you may hear that on the microphone. I hope that Charlton Heston can help the National Rifle Association in their endeavors. Your guess is at least as good as mine at this point. We got a solicitation for funds in here this week. Friends, they ought to know better than try to solicit us for funds. Anyway, they're selling plates now, some outfit is, with Charlton Heston's picture on it carrying a shotgun for $34.95. Heather opened that and said, what in the world is this? Well, you know, I guess they'll try whatever, friends, but to me, it's, you know, I can't see it. Well, I wish them a lot of luck on selling their plates. Do you really think that selling a plate with Charlton Heston's picture with a shotgun over his shoulder is going to make a statement for freedom? I'll let you be your own judge on that. We've got cats everywhere here, okay? Anyway, we really appreciate your response. Was so good this past week on our new Kimber guns. This is, of course, the Shooting Show Kimber. We have the smaller compact model we're going to show you today. We have some reloading stuff. We have one of our viewers' home video that we're going to try and get on today's program that I think is going to be real good. And I think, can we get a shot of those cats? They're having fun. Well, anyway, probably not. We don't have time for that. Anyway, we used to have an old tomcat that would get here on this table, and you could shoot all day next to him, and it's just like, you know, he'd just roll over and go to sleep, kind of like Blue does down there when we're shooting guns. So anyway, they know that they're under no threat at all out here on the range. Anyway, we have a couple of announcements that are very important. We also want to say, if you would like to have one of our Kimber guns, we are authorized to wholesale any of the line of Kimbers. If you like one of our Shooting Show guns, we have priced the custom classic target Shooting Show model at $699 retail. Now that's retail. We'll certainly try and help the dealers if they'd like to have some of these guns. So they're very reasonably priced, because let me tell you what, these guns look just like a gun and shoot just as good as somebody else's $1,500 gun. I tell you, it's really remarkable what these good folks have done. If you want to get in touch with us on the Kimber, let me give you our Shooting Show address. The Shooting Show, 327 Urban Rowland Road, Beverly, Louisiana. The zip code 71024. Our phone number, if you'd like to call and talk to us about us, send us an FFL, whatever. Our phone number, area 318-377-5189. And you know, friends, we have often said that it only takes a small percentage of the population getting involved, and that's true, to do about anything they want to do. And this week, Senator Bob Smith from New Hampshire, who is looking better and better as a presidential candidate, he got a bill passed in the Senate that will not allow the FBI to keep records or firearms records of who buys a gun or their social security number or anything else. He's gotten a bill passed through the Senate. Now it's going to the House now, and we need to call our U.S. representatives and tell them to support this thing, whereas the FBI cannot keep. They were going to keep records for 18 months on who bought what, on where you and I live, what kind of gun we got, whether or not they want to give us permission to own a gun at all, but they were going to keep these records for 18 months. Well, Bob Smith said they shouldn't have them for 18 months or 18 days or 18 minutes or 18 seconds. It ought to go off immediately after this this ridiculous instant check it comes about in November. So we definitely need to support Senator Bob Smith. We anticipate getting him on our radio show in the next week or so. We are certainly going to try and get him here on our television program. So we are most encouraged. You see, that's just one man who stood up for something that's right. And of course, there are efforts underway to get this whole thing repealed about this ridiculous Brady bill, this instant background check, because you know what, friends? For the first time in American history, you and I have to have permission from the government to buy any kind of gun. Now, friends, it's here. We've been saying this has been coming. It is here now. Incidentally, a somewhat interesting side note to this, the ATF people, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms, they're not happy about this either, because suddenly the FBI has come in and is taking over what was thought to be an ATF job. And guess what, friends? Whether you're a police officer or an ATF agent, guess what? You're going to have to go through a background check too. Every time you buy a gun, it's going to cost $15, $20, maybe $25 for this background check. Now, Kitty, please stay back. That's all right. The camera's not low enough to see this, but I'm surrounded by cats here. Anyway, so we'll see how some of these federal agents might like some of their own regulations being put on them. And let me tell you what, I've already heard that they're not happy at all. Well, heck, they're federal agents. Why should they have a background check? Hey, we're American citizens. Why should we have background checks? What's wrong with that? You know, friends, we're going to start off our program today, if I can run my cats back. We're going to start off our program with this great Kimber 45 ACP. Trust me, this is the best production 1911 I think that has ever been made. You'll have to spend 2, 3, 4, 5 times as much money to equal it among anybody else's guns. We certainly encourage you, if you'd like to have one of these Kimbers, give us a call, whatever they make. We'll start off with this today. We also have, we appreciate our calls, the pyruvate, and yes, yours truly is going to get rid of this 15 pounds, because I can, pyruvate's down there where even I can afford it now. So if you'd like information on pyruvate, or you'd like to sell it, maybe make $1,000 or $3,000 a month, please give us a call here at the program. If you can help support our shooting show, because you know what, that's how we're here today. Somebody said, boy, Johnny, your attitude was different last week. I said, yeah, we're on the air. Yeah, I'm happy we're on the air. I'm happy again today. But we need your help to continue this, friends. This is not a joke. And my goodness, I'm just tired of being all morbid and depressed. Let's do it. My goodness, let's get out here and do a program and show something interesting and educate some folks about why we have guns. We are so glad to have you with us, friends. Let's take our Kimber 45. We're shooting some jacketed hollow point ammunition today. Have some Hornady bullets actually there, and just as what that I reloaded myself. And let's see how they perform in this great Kimber. Got our water bottle down here at 100 yards. See what it looks like. Friends, I tell you what, this is something that we would not even attempt with most of our other 1911s, but believe me, these Kimbers are accurate enough. We'll just about only do this with an expensive custom gun or with one of the revolvers, but this out-of-the-box Kimber, let's see if it'll do it. And just for fun, since we're here, most of us would never think of shooting a 45. Of course, you see me do it here on the program at 200 yards, but got our dinger set up over there. Let's just see how it looks.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
You know, friends, on our shooting show over these many years, we have featured so many kinds of guns I have forgotten what. We have featured about every known version of something that goes bang here on this program. And after last week's program, when we announced we were going to be able to sell these Kimbers, and we want to thank the factory people, because these are some of the folks at the factory that are helping us do this and are allowing us to do this, and they're trying to help our project. And plus, it's an opportunity for a lot of you out there. You know, these things have been somewhat hard to come by. I have said for all these years on the program that the basic 1911 design has really been the high watermark of semi-automatic pistol development, period. And there are some other designs out there, some of them pretty nice, but there's nothing that works better than the 1911. So I think you notice that there aren't many of the other guns, other designs being cloned. There are a lot of different companies making 1911s. And heck, I used to think and have said on this program that a lot of the 1911s were loose, they'd rattle around because they had to be to work. Well, the thing is, if maybe they're not made properly, maybe they have to be loose to work. But it is so amazing to find a gun that does not rattle, that works just fine, that is super accurate. And I tell you what, friends, right now, and I was talking to Bob Server the other day, and our friends up at the Kimber Company said, you know, with New York State being one of the toughest areas on gun ownership, two of the very finest guns, the best 1911s, and certainly some of the very best revolvers are being made right there in New York. So I find that a lot of good people left in New York State. They're sort of overrun, like a lot of us in other places in the country, by some of the anti-gun politicians. And these people have wire-worked their way in there, and they're tough to get out. So we do wish those good folks in New York a lot of luck. I was talking to a police officer the other day that is from that part of the country, and we were talking about some of the gang types and what they're doing. And I've said for years, the gang types don't watch this program, because there was some gang types that were shooting at some police officers, as I understand the way this went, and their semi-automatic jammed on them, and they threw it out the window. And the police picked it up, and these gangbanger types had loaded rounds in the magazine backwards. Tell you what, Fred, these guys, they don't work too well with the ammunition loaded backwards. I thought that was pretty outrageous. So no, those people don't watch our program, and you know what? I flatly don't care. Maybe it'd do them good if they did watch our program, because then they'd say, wait a minute, the armed, honest citizen is not going to allow themselves to be overrun, that they're not going to put up with it. So anyway, I really don't think we're on their list of favorite programs there. Just like the anti-gun people, we're darn sure not on their list of favorite programs. Well, here is our Kimber Shooting Show Compact, and we'll take a closer look in just a moment. It is identical in size to the Kimber Compact, the stainless compact we've had here at the program for a month or two. And the difference is, and as I said, we'll look at this a little closer in a moment, we have adjustable sights on this compact gun. Now, most of the compact semi-automatics, for that matter, compact revolvers, do not have adjustable sights, because the makers figure, well, heck, a lot of them aren't that accurate anyway, it doesn't matter, belly gun type thing. But these are Kimbers are accurate enough, and I think we'll prove that in just a few minutes, that you can actually use the adjustable sights, because you can adjust for any particular load. We have got this gun, both of these, in fact, both these compacts, around 2 inches or less for 5-shot groups at 25 yards. Now, wait a minute, friends. That is fantastic for a regular full-size government model, much less a compact model. So let's see the little Kimber, our Shooting Show Compact, in action. Realize we always shoot with hearing protection, and those of you who are new to this program, you'll never see me here on the range holding a gun that I'm about to shoot if I don't have eye protection. It is absolutely essential. So let's go ahead and shoot the gun. I've got some of my lead target loads in there, and let's see how it functions. Well, that's like it's supposed to. Well, let's take a closer look at our Shooting Show compact from the good folks there at Kimber, and take a quick look at it. Now, friends, here you'll see again the Shooting Show, and they have been nice enough to put my name on it, because this is a model that we specifically asked for, my idea of the ultimate small compact semi-automatic. realize how they've machined here to put these adjustable sights on the gun, and realize we're not talking a big gun here. Now see, actually, this thing's no bigger than my hand, and it has all the neat things. It has the nicely spaced, easy to clean serrations here. Of course, this one has these real pretty rosewood grips, which you can actually get on any of the guns. Of course, the ring hammer, the excellent beaver tail grip safety here with the protrusion here, so you're going to, any kind of reasonable grip, you're going to disable the grip safety there, so the gun will fire reliably. But has certainly the bevel magazine weld. It has a 7-shot Chip McCormick magazine. Very, very nicely done. And of course, the internal surfaces are machined so nicely. This is sort of my favorite here, this matte black. You can get this in polished blue for a little extra, or certainly you can get it in stainless. But let's compare. And of course, we know this gun's unloaded. I will draw your attention. This one has the cone barrel, which helps to make these guns as accurate as they are. Also has a full-length guide rod, which we don't recommend in everybody's gun, but they sure work well in these Kimbers. Has the dovetail front sight that won't come out. It has the scallop here on the ejection port to keep you from denting your brass, because the people that make these Kimbers are actually shooters, and they understand that you don't want your brass dented. It also enhances reliability. So it has everything that we're really looking for on one of these compact guns. In comparison to the full-size gun, we can see here, and yes, we know these guns are unloaded. See, you have an inch shorter slide and barrel there. It's about a ½ inch shorter through the frame here. And of course, the full-size government model is such a nice package, but these would have a definite use for someone with smaller hands or someone that wants to carry the gun concealed. It's still easy to shoot even with someone with large hands. My size large hands, like a lot of us have, it's still not a problem to shoot it. Friends, see, in comparison to our Kimber in stainless with the fixed sights, you can see the difference, but you'll notice these adjustable sights are really not obtrusive. Heck, they're not going to slow you down as far as drawing out of a concealment type holster. They're not going to snag. They're smooth. And of course, this really does let you adjust the loads where you want them. Again, we can get these guns in blue or stainless with this adjustable sight, our shooting show model. Friends, here's one of my very favorite small guns, the SP-101 Ruger in 357 Magnum. This one has a 3-inch barrel. And you'll notice it is actually a little bit bigger than our Kimber Compact. Isn't that neat? And these Rugers are just excellent guns, but I tell you, when you've got a full-powered 45 semi-automatics, it's easy to shoot, that's actually a little smaller than an SP-101. That's kind of a neat package, if you ask me. Well, friends, let's do a little testing here on our gun cam. And I tell you what, one of the reasons that I really like accurate guns in particular is, you know, here in the South we have quite a few snakes. And I actually shot a pretty nice sized rattlesnake just above the farm here yesterday, actually, with one of these Kimber compacts here. And thankfully I was able to take the snake's head off with one shot, because trust me, you start shooting at a snake, you don't get many chances. And I'm like Indiana Jones now. You've heard me say this before. I hate snakes, and thankfully I was able to nail that rattlesnake. But just don't need them slithering around here, if you ask me. All right, let's go ahead, and we have a bottle cap off one of our water bottles, which is certainly a small target, and that's about the size of a snake's head. Let's see how it looks here. Yes, indeed, right on the edge of it. Let's see if we can puncture that bottle cap a little better. Well, I think we fixed it. I'll tell you what, friends, again, we have 7 rounds, essentially, well, in one hole, actually. And obviously on my first shot, I was actually aiming just a little bit low. I should have aimed a little more centered there, but I'll tell you what, anytime you can hit one hole within a bottle cap size, certainly that's quite a bit smaller than the original bottle cap. And if I were just a better shot, I would have put them all inside, fully inside that circle. But as we have said, these are just tremendous guns. And you know what? I don't profess to be a super shooter. I'm just an average shooter with a little practice. And any one of you with a little practice could do equally as well as me, I'm sure, if you got out there and tried on these great Kimber guns. My friends, we have our pro timer here from the good folks at Competition Electronics, and we can't say enough good about these. They have really been tremendous pieces of equipment. We'll go ahead and set it to delay and put it on my pocket here. Now then, a lot of people are going to compare the small semi-automatics to the small revolvers as far as what we have in mind, defensive purposes. And I think it's important to say now that if you're not an enthusiast, if you're not going to go out and regularly shoot your gun and learn how it works, you're better off with a revolver, because the revolvers are simpler. And certainly each type of gun has its own advantages, but this is, in my way of thinking, one of the very best, probably in the top two, and you'll have to argue about which is number one of the small revolvers for defense. And of course this Kimber, as far as I'm concerned, is incomparable against the other compact 1911 or semi-automatic type guns. Let's run a quick test here. We'll shoot 5 shots and just compare. And these small guns, the 357 is comparable in power to the full charge 45 ACP, and that's what we're shooting. Like you'd order from Georgia Arms, the full charge 230 grain bullets in the 45 ACP. Now let's run a quick comparison and check our group size on rapid fire. We'll start with our 357 Magnum. Have a little aiming point here, and the timer will start me. And let's go ahead and run 5 shots and just see how long it takes and see what our accuracy looks like. Let's try this now. Have my hearing protection in, because yes, these things are loud. Here we go. Press the start button. We'll start from the low ready position in a moment. Repress the start button. That's a little quicker than I had in mind. Here we go. Okay. I'm not particularly fast today, 1.9 seconds with the draw. And we'll look at our groups in just a moment. We'll go ahead and mark these. This is 357. Okay, 5 shots. Like I said, I may not be in the best form today. Let's just see how long it takes on our little Kimber here. 1.9 seconds for the 357 Magnum revolver, 5 shots. Let's try the Kimber. Okay, 1.46 seconds, and we'll take a look at our group here. All right, and like I said, I am a huge fan of those small fricks. That SP101 is one of the very best. But this was 1.46 seconds, and notice the size here of our 5 shots. Now then, our 357 was 1.9 seconds, and the size of our group here. So, needless to say, this compact Kimber with the 45 is quite a bit easier to shoot rapidly than the small 357. Small 357 is still a darn good gun, but it's just easier to shoot the little 45 faster. You know, and certainly the way these guns are set up. So a quick test there that I think is indicative of what a lot of you, of the results you would have too. I'll tell you what, friends, the reason we have gone on and on this program about these guns is because they are such superior quality. And of course, nobody knows what's going to be happening in the future. We may get put back to one gun. A little perspiration here on my glasses. We may find ourselves being able to buy 1 gun a month, or maybe no guns a month, or whatever. So if there was something I really wanted, I would not put it off. If you can't find a Kimber at your local dealer, certainly you can have your dealer call us here on the program, or you can call us and talk about getting one of these superior 45s. Tell you what, friends, this is as good as it gets, in my opinion, on everything I've seen come through this program. And You know, we were saying this long before they offered to let us sell these guns. I am certainly convinced, and you know, I don't want to sell something to somebody or recommend something to someone where they're going to go out and try the gun and it's not going to work, and then they're going to call me and get mad. No, I don't want to do that. Now, certainly these are just machines like anything else, but the service department at the Kimber factory is really good. And if you have a problem with your gun, well, they certainly will fix it for you and help you out there. But this is something that I think a lot of us, especially now with concealed carry laws being passed in a lot of locations around the country, I'll tell you what, friends, if you like small yet potent semi-automatics, the best system that's ever been devised, as far as I'm concerned, this is it. This Kimber compact model. Of course, this is our shooting show model. Both our shooting show guns are going to retail same price. The compact and the full-size shooting show gun are going to retail at $6.99. Stainless is a little more. The rosewood grips are a little bit more, but that's the target price we've got them set on as for now. And I think that's a bargain for what you get. Anyway, the Kimber compact shooting show model, it's a winner.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station.
Friends, here it is, great Georgia Arms ammunition. Notice these ballistic tip nozzler bullets in this Georgia Arms ammunition. You see, this is equivalent to a box of 20 for only $7.95. Now, friends, that is a terrific price for essentially custom-loaded ammunition. Of course, for the plain full metal jacket, it is much less expensive. Here's another tremendous bag of Georgia Arms ammunition, 7mm Remington Magnum, 20 rounds, only $17.95, loaded with these premium Nosler ballistic tips. I tell you, this is custom ammunition at a discount price. Tell you what, friends, the good people at Georgia Arms do understand what's going on in this country. They understand how important our gun rights are, and they're supporting us on this project. The good news is you can get absolutely superior ammunition at discount prices, whether you have a handgun or a rifle. If you want to take that big hunt, you can afford to practice with your rifle as well as use that same ammunition on the hunt because they are so reasonably priced. These are some of the nicest people we have ever met in this business, bar none, and they're down in beautiful Villa Rica, Georgia. So please, friends, if you would, you can get a free catalog with a free phone call. That's as good as the deal gets. A free catalog, free phone call, 1-800-624-6861. Again, Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861. And please tell them you saw it here on our shooting show. Friends, here we are in my shop today, and I tell you what, it's a welcome relief from the heat too. I want to remind you that Georgia Arms has the 45 double action Colt cartridge and loaded cowboy ammo, but also for a lot of us hand loaders, they're selling the empty brass, and of course it has so many advantages. One, it is easier to reload. Remember, we use the 7 mag shell holder on the RCBS presses like this. It fits just fine in the shell holder for the 7mm Remington Magnum. RCBS is actually making a Schofield shell holder that does work, but it's $13, $14. And whereas the regular old shell holder that works just fine for the 7 mags like $4 or $5. So it's a better deal if you ask me. Anyway, they do have these. Georgia Arms has them in stock. They have loaded ammunition, and we really appreciate, now Blue, settle down over there. We really appreciate them doing this on behalf of our program. But this is a really great cartridge concept that we think is going to be very helpful to a lot of people, especially with all the 45 Colt double action revolvers and in the Red Hawks. If you want to take these on up and hand load them, of course the hand loading information is exactly the same for the 45 Colt. It's exactly the same case, except it has the bigger and better rim on it. So that is available now from Georgia Arms. And realize you can get their free catalog, 1-800-624-6861. Again, Georgia Arms, 1-800-624-6861. They also have cowboy ammunition 3840, which has been very hard to find in the past. They've actually got it. And they have the 4440 Winchester at really reasonable prices, because the 3840 and 4440, when you could find it, was so expensive in the past that it was really prohibitive. I mean, for most folks to buy it. Also, they are back in production at Georgia Arms with our 41 Magnum Defense Low, Special Defense, or Defense Special, actually, which is the 170 grain bullet running along there at about 1,200 feet per second from a 4-inch barrel. And you know what a fan I am of the 41 Magnum cartridge. Arguably, the 41 Magnum is the best handgun cartridge. So we really appreciate that. They have, of course, the full charge, full powered loads, as well as our Defense Special load there. Okay, a couple of things we're going to look at. One, Accurate Arms Powders has sent us some powders for testing here on the program, and we use it a lot. We use the number 9. We have found in the 357 Magnum we can get better velocity with Accurate number 9 than anything else, actually, out of the short barrels, like the little SP101 we were showing earlier. We have got some published loads that in some of the loading manuals here, pulling up to my library there on the shelf, we have published loads that will actually approach about 1,400 feet per second for a 125 grain bullet out of the 3-inch barrel, and that is phenomenal performance if you ask me. Also, Accurate number 5, we use that a lot in 45 ACP. It's one of the best powders in 45 ACP. And Accurate number 2, in fact, we have a load. In fact, let me show you this, using Accurate number 2 that we actually got from the Accurate Arms people there at their plant on what we use for the 41 Magnum. For something we'll show here is the 41 Magnum, the full charge load. This is actually a Hornady bullet right here over a max charge, but a lot of you have asked about 41 Magnum target load. So what I did, I called up Accurate Arms and talked to their ballistician there, the people that work with powders, and they suggested this. Since it's a long case, we wanted something. This is around a 200 grain bullet right here. They suggested seating it deeply in the case and actually putting the crimp over the shoulder there of the bullet. And this is what we got, and we are running that over about 5.6 grains of Accurate number 2 with a standard primer, not a Magnum primer, a standard primer. And this is a really good practice load that we use a lot out here on the farm in the 41 Magnum. But we're seating the bullet a little bit deeper here in order to cut down on some of the airspace in the case there for more consistency. We also think it's a little safer. So anyway, something we thought we might show you. Now friends, what we're looking at here, we have a couple of 357 Magnum bullets, and I'll show you something that I found really interesting. On my right here, on your right, is a Remington 125 grain jacketed hollow point, and this is the Spear Gold Dot, a 125 grain jacketed hollow point. And these are like super bullets. Now, so show you something else that's a little different. See how the end of the spear bullet is a little bit concave. It's kind of scooped out there. And also, I'll have you notice where the cannelure is. Notice that when we hold these bullets up beside each other, the cannelure is higher on the Remington bullet. Now, what this means is, on the spear bullet, you can seat it a little further out in the case, plus you've got a little extra space due to this concave base on it versus a flat base on the Remington bullet. And what you can do is, we have managed to get better velocity. The highest velocities actually with this spear bullet are higher velocities as compared to a regular bullet that we're accustomed to seeing, with less pressure. So these are the ones that we're running 1,400 or so feet per second out of that 3-inch Ruger SP101, and they hold together extremely well. And those of you that are hand loaders, this is something you might want to consider, because it gives you more space in the cartridge case. It lowers pressures measurably. And again, we'll go over here is our 45 double action Colt from Georgia Arms. This is the empty brass, and of course here's a loaded cowboy round. Notice that this bullet is dark here. It has a black coating. That is the moly coating, which will help prevent leading in your handgun or your rifle. Again, the cases and loaded ammo are available from Georgia Arms. Friends, again, we want to thank the Accurate Arms Company for sending us some powder for use here on our project, because we do go through a good bit of gunpowder here in the shop using different loaded combinations. Another powder I want to bring up that is an old powder. It's 2400 from now Alliant. These folks used to be Hercules. They were bought out by Alliant, I suppose, but it's still the same powder. And I'll tell you what, we have seen some of the best accuracy results in the Magnum calibers, 41, 44, with 2400 powder. Maybe if you have a gun that's a little bit troublesome about getting the best accuracy in a 41 mag, especially the Rugers, we've noticed that just due to their barrel configuration, whatever, we have had superior results with accuracy and performance too, for that matter. You know, Elmer Keith, this was his favorite powder. Elmer had a load for the 44 Magnum that he talked about many years. Of course, this was certainly the best powder of Elmer's time. Let me tell you what, it is still one of the best. You can't get velocities maybe as high as you will with 296 or H110, something like that, but you will get really good performance. And I tell you what, especially in some of our Rugers that we have shot, we have gotten the way better groups with 2400 powder saved than 296 or some other things. So I really want to say some of this old stuff is just as good as it ever was, and 2400 is definitely an older powder, but it still works great today. So just a few things we thought we would show you here, friends. Always when you're in the anytime you're around gunpowder, you want to wear safety glasses, gunpowder or primer, because there's always a chance that something could go off or cause a problem, and you don't want to injure your eyes any way, shape, or form. Another tip in your loading room, I've seen people use vacuum cleaners in their loading room, but the loading manuals specifically say that you need to use a whisk broom, no electrical sparks from a vacuum cleaner, nothing at all. They say use a broom and a dustpan, or maybe cleaning up spilled powder or something, maybe a damp cloth. But that's something else. The loading manuals say do not use a vacuum cleaner around gunpowder. Or heck, you might suck one of the primers in there that wasn't, because sometimes you'll drop them on the floor, all of us do. And you don't want that to go in and be exposed to any sparks or any sharp. If it goes through a vacuum cleaner hose, who the heck knows, it might hit something in there. But let's just be safe. You know, there is every accident that can be prevented might be the one that made your life a lot better, believe me, in preventing any accidents. So just a few things we thought we'd show you out here today in the loading shop.
Stay tuned for more of the Shootin' Show after these important messages.
The Shootin' Show will be right back after this break for your local cable company or TV station. Friends, here it is. This is the great 1919 Browning converted to semi-automatic from the good people at NWI. This is your chance to own a real piece of history. They're very collectible. They're also a lot of fun to own and shoot, and very reasonably priced, certainly for what you get. The 1919 Browning is from NWI. That phone number, area 503-429-5001. They also have the ammunition special still going on. 30-06 ammunition, only 18 cents a round, surplus in the belt. So give them a call today, NWI, for the great 1919 Browning conversion. Also remember, they have the A6 conversion with the shoulder stock and the bipod. But these are tremendous pieces of history, also great shooters. So give them a call today, the 1919 Browning from NWI, area 503-429-5001.
Now, friends, I tell you what, none of us knows what lies ahead as far as this ridiculous legislation that's coming, but you may be looking at an endangered species here. No, I'm not talking about the pretty girl. I'm talking about this great NWI 1919 Browning conversion. If you can own a semi-automatic now anywhere in the United States, any kind of semi-automatic rifle, you can own one. You can own this belt-fed, tripod-mounted 1919 Browning. You can get the shoulder stock model. And also, I want to mention they have a few of the 50 caliber conversions that are available. These guns are very reasonably priced. And trust me, friends, if I wanted something like this, I would not put it off if I could fit it in my budget any way, shape, or form. Tim is awfully considerate of your budget, and if you don't have enough at a particular time, he'll help you break up the payment so you can afford one of these great guns. Give him a call today, area 503-429-5001. And please, when you talk to them, please tell them you saw it here on our program. Well, ladies and gentlemen, I hope you're enjoying our program today. Leroy Scott could not be with us due to some technical difficulties that we could not do anything about, but we certainly look forward to seeing him. We hope next week, absolutely. By the time you're seeing our program on this Sunday evening, the first time it airs, I know some of you watching cable will see it on a different time slot, but the first time it airs on Sunday night, we should have had Senator Bob Smith from New Hampshire on our radio show, which, as you're seeing, this will be earlier today, and we're very, very pleased about this. You know, we're always saying, friends, that it doesn't take massive numbers of people. Individuals can make the difference. And I'll tell you what, Bob Smith is looking better and better as a presidential candidate because he entered an amendment or his amendment in the Senate to stop the FBI from retaining our firearms records that they're going to start to take from us this fall coming up. Now, it's not that far away, and I do find it interesting that all these years we as regular citizens have had to go through all these gun regulations. Well, guess what? Now with this second provision in this Brady bill, the alcohol, tobacco, and firearms agents, and some of them are gun enthusiasts, they're going to have to go through background checks too. Police officers everywhere, if they want to buy a gun, you got a lot of police officers, some anyway, that are gun enthusiasts, and guess what? They're going to have to go through a background check too, just like the rest of us. And in fact, we understand that there are a lot of ATF people that are rather upset that here comes the FBI, and of course this is coming from the Clinton White House. You think a president can't make much difference? I've heard people say, well, the president doesn't make a difference. It does too, friends. One, the president appoints federal judges. Think about it. And that Bill Clinton, King William I, apparently, that's what a lot of people are calling him now, King William I. This whole Brady bill fiasco has come about under Bill Clinton's time in the Oval Office. I tell you what, I hate to call that man president, but in fact that's the way it is. His whole thing, this Brady fiasco, has come about because Bill Clinton helped put it into effect. Now, if you think one man can't make a difference, well, here we have Senator Bob Smith that introduced this bill and got it passed in the Senate to stop the FBI from retaining records on you and I when we buy guns. They wanted to hold those records for 18 months. And now they're not going to be able to hold them at all, according to what he's gotten passed in the Senate. Now, it's going to the House of Representatives.
Now, each one of us needs to get active out there. We need to call our U.S. representative and tell them that we don't want this Brady bill mess going on our records where they're going to keep our records, to please support a measure like what Senator Smith got passed in the Senate. This is really important. We have to do this now. Let me read to you the senators who voted against this. In other words, the socialist-leaning senators who would like to take your guns away, who don't think that you and I as Americans are trustworthy. Well, you know, should we trust the government? Think about it now. The government in place right now are the same people who brought you the fiasco at Waco, Texas. We're talking about fiascos here. Who brought you Ruby Ridge, Idaho. This same bunch houses the IRS, and how trustworthy have they been? How trustworthy is Bill Clinton? You know, let's ask a lot of people about that. Just how trustworthy is this man? And these same people want us to trust them to give us permission to own guns. What do you think, friends? Think about it. Well, let's read the senators who voted against Bob Smith's bill, and we'll be quick about this. We are short on time. You had Akaka from Hawaii, Biden from Delaware. Well, we kind of expect that out of Joe Biden. Boxer, California, same old bunch, same old socialist bunch. Bryan from Nevada. Dale Bumpers from Arkansas, Clinton's buddy. Okay, Byrd from West Virginia. Max Cleland from Georgia. That kind of surprised me about Max Cleland. He ought to know better than that. Dodd from Connecticut. Well, nothing unusual there. Durbin from Illinois. Feinstein from California, of course. Ford from Kentucky. John Glenn of Ohio. Yeah, well, he's a nut. Okay. Graham from Florida. Harkin from Iowa. Inouye from Hawaii. Kennedy, Ted himself. I tell you what, they ought to register cars and bridges in Massachusetts for Teddy Kennedy. You have Bob Kerrey from Massachusetts, Cole from Wisconsin, Mary Landrieu here from Louisiana, and we believe they stole that election from Woody Jenkins. You know, we promoted Woody on this program, and the Democrats, their deal there, their hit squad actually stole that election, but she's in there. Nothing we can do about it now. Lautenberg, New Jersey, of course, Lautenberg Amendment fame. Yeah, we expect that from him. Levin from Michigan, Lieberman from Connecticut, Mikulski from Maryland, Mosley Braun, Carol Mosley Braun, yeah, that's about right for her. Moynihan, she's from Illinois. Moynihan from New York, Reed from Rhode Island, Robb from Virginia, well, Charles Robb. Sarbanes from Maryland, Torricelli from New Jersey, Wellstone from Minnesota, and Wyden from Oregon. Now, all these people, if you live in their districts, friends, now I don't know what good it's going to do to write Teddy Kennedy and tell him that you know, he really shouldn't want to take away our rights, because we're talking about socialist-leaning people. Something else I want to tell you about. The NRA, we got this fax here from Gun Owners of America. They were supporting Bob Smith's bill there. The National Rifle Association had people down there working against Bob Smith's bill, and guess what? They were there saying, well, we probably can't pass it anyway. They had their own compromise bill, which is another version of the NRA compromising again. I tell you what, friends, some of you have written and called me and said, Johnny, you need to ease up on the NRA. Let me tell you what, look what they've done. They have compromised again. And you know, I'll bet you when in those hundreds of thousands of dollars that Wayne LaPierre gets and some of those other top echelon people at the NRA, I bet you they don't want to compromise on their paycheck. What about that? But they're willing to compromise our gun rights. And yes, I'm angry about it, and you should be too. Doggone it, you know, we can't let them get away with this. The NRA has done some wonderful things in the past, but let me tell you what, friends, you got people up there now that are not shooters, that do not know who we are out here in the heartland of America. And it makes me angry that we got to call them to task, friend. The NRA has been a sacred cow for too many of us too long. It needs to be straightened up. We need the NRA, but they need to be straightened up. Okay, there's several things I want to talk about. One, we again appreciate so much the good folks at Kimber for making these guns, allowing us to sell them. If you want one of the Kimber guns, If your dealer doesn't have any, would like to have some, they can call us to get them. Anything Kimber makes in addition to our shooting show guns. So you can, our standard address and phone number, you can certainly get it from the Shooting Show, 327 Irvin Rowland Road, Dubberly, Louisiana, 71024. Our phone number, 318-377-5189. Also want to tell you, we've had a good response this week from those of you who want to start the pyruvate again. It's wonderful stuff. The New Vision company is a good company. If someone out there would like to sell this stuff or help us work with it, you certainly can. You can make an income of $1,000 to $3,000 a month if you work at it. We have tapes that we can send you telling you how to do it. If you'd like to join us on this, please get in touch with me on that. And we are here this week, friends, because enough of you cared about what we're doing at the shooting show. You know, I'm certainly friends with a lot of you out there, but it's not about Johnny. You're not doing this because you like me. You're doing this because you want our message going out on national television. That's why you have helped us. And enough of you did. Those $5, $25, $50, even there were a couple of checks for a couple of hundred there that have us on here this week. We need your help to continue because, friends, this fight is not going away. We have some things, just like on our gun sales, things developed over time that's going to pay us a little something, but it's going to take months to develop it. Just like our pyruvate, our New Vision, our glucosamine sales, that's going to take months to develop that, but it'll all help. It certainly will. And we appreciate so much, again, Georgia Arms making this cartridge for us. But again, that is not going to actually pay us money other than we certainly want to encourage Georgia Arms to do good business so they can continue being our sponsor. But unfortunately, we have to ask for your help. And it's something that I don't like to do. But you know what, friends? I don't like the prospect of us going off the air, of not continuing to get our message out. I like that a lot less than I do of having to ask for money. So the prospects of us going off the air are much worse to me than me sitting here saying, friends, we need your help. So these are things that we have to bring up. Friends, honestly, somebody out there could write a check for $5,000 or $10,000. Someone could. And you know what? We have some things up ahead we've been working on for some time that maybe we can even pay some of these donations back. That's the only way we can do it right now. We have to have it in the class of a donation. If you can help us, if you'd like to see the shooting show reach more people, if we can continue to get our message out, please, if you can, please help us. One of the gospel folks, or so-called gospel folks there years ago, used to cry on stage and carry on about begging for money, and I understand their income was like $60 million a year at the time. Hey, friends, we're making this week to week, and we're doing it with your help. Please, if you can, help us, and please remember our sponsors if you can buy anything from them, and tell them at least you heard it here on the shooting show. Let me mention some folks that are very, very important to us. As we said, time is short. We have our support group, and these are smaller sponsors, but nonetheless, they help us stay on the air. Our good friend Dennis Crocker, who is a firearms instructor in South Carolina. Dennis is authorized to go throughout the state and give firearms training. His number is area 864-587-8722. We have our good friends Dennis and Jeannie Ritchie with Custom Leatherwork and Saddlery. They do all kinds of leather work down in Denham Springs, Louisiana. Give them a call at area 504-667-9225. Then we have the folks out at Camouflage Technologies. They paint gun stocks in all kinds of neat patterns, and you can reach them at area 909-674-6488. And of course, Clark Custom Guns, our good friends for all these years and supporters. Any kind of work on handguns, or certainly on 1911s, or on Smith & Wesson or Ruger revolvers, you can give them a call, or certainly for their great 22 Ruger rifles. Their number is area 318-949-9884. And we have the folks at Flying Horse Galleries, the artwork on the internet there, and we appreciate them auctioning off the painting recently because it certainly helped our project. You can find them on the internet at www.flyinghorse.net. And then our friend Bruce Warren with BC Armory. Bruce works on semi-automatic pistols and revolver there in East Leroy, Michigan. If you're in his area, you might give our friend Bruce a call. His number is area 616-729-0505. 5508. Friends, want to remind you about our gospel show on Sunday morning, and the satellite locations there are Telstar 4, Channel 23. We're on from 10 until 10:30 Eastern Time on Sunday morning. And please remember our radio show on the American Freedom Network. You can find us there on SpaceNet 4, Channel 19, 5.82 audio, and that of course is from on Sunday from noon until 2 o'clock Eastern Time. And we have our radio shows are really going well, and we invite all of you to listen. Also, our shooting show newsletter is getting a great response. It is certainly an outlet. We have our friends Frank Dean and Ron DeLong who are helping us with this, and certainly I'm writing a column for it. And excuse me, our newsletter is a very important thing for us, and we're reaching people in print, through the mail, as well as on the internet. You can find our newsletter there on our website on the internet. We certainly want to thank all the internet viewers. We've had people come watch our program now from 60 some odd countries around the world, and maybe we can spread some truth about what gun ownership is, about what it means to be able to own and shoot firearms, and what it means to be able to protect ourselves and our families in our homes. So many countries around the world don't have that, but we still have it here for now. Now, friends, as we're sitting here today, as you're watching this, we are still losing our gun rights. Our only hope is to reach more people through the medium of television and the other things we do, especially television. It has to be done. But you know what? We cannot do it without your help. Thanks to all of you that have been so helpful to us. If you can continue, we desperately need your help to keep the shooting show on the air. So if you can spare $5, $10, $25, maybe someone out there could spare as much as $5,000 or $10,000, because you know what? I think we could put some things into motion if we had that amount of money, that we could make it. I really believe we could. Right now we don't have it. Friends, thanks again for being with us on today's program, and we hope that we'll see you on the next show.